to go see Bad Boys 2. But that was basically Stephen A's horrible hot take. And I'm not gonna lie, Stephen, I told y'all how I felt about Stephen A last week. So I kind of realistically don't even have to double down on it. But I'm sure most people, if you didn't hear, I thought maybe they didn't post, maybe what's name didn't post that one. I thought they did. I thought everybody posted it, to be honest. But maybe they did not. I'm trying to look for the Stephen A. Smith clip. But Stephen A. basically sit here and said that he was like, dog, I don't want to watch the Will Smith movie. Oh, here you go, matter of fact, I ain't even gotta say it. I'm gonna play it for you anyway. Here you go.
When we use the word forgivable or forgiveness, that's for Chris Rock to deal with. It's his call. He could have had the man arrested that night and insisted to the LAPD that not be the case. Could have pressed charges thereafter and insisted on not doing that to Will Smith, not making the incident any bigger than what it was. Yes, he came out with his own flip for next fix, got about $20 million for it. After tax, he probably walked home with about $6 million. But Chris Rock is damaged. In the day and age of mental illness or traumatic incidences that affects one's mind and psyche, when we use the word forgivable or forgiveness.
Like I said, long story, I don't want to play because he got long-winded with it for real. But realistically, long story short, Stephen A. basically said Will Smith was doing a press run with a bunch of white people running around, whatever the case may be. The black community needs an apology from Will Smith before he can go see Bad Boys 4. Stephen A. Smith, let me tell you something. I don't necessarily, again, and I said this last week, bro, Stephen A. just has a good job. His opinion, the more and more he talks, the more credibility he loses from his opinion, bro. And he just proves some people just got good jobs. And I think, of course, we talked about it last week. A lot of black people, we just fall in love with the job. Oh, he got this great job, or whatever case may be. And you get enamored by the job he has. So you feel like you hold his opinion higher. But I feel like if you of a certain age and you got 2 ears and you can listen, you can see the more Stephen A. Smith speaks, he's very detached from the rest of the world, especially the black community, because he thought I know when he said this, I know he thought he ate in the voice of all the females. He thought 4 + 4 = 8. And I'm sorry, Stephen A. Smith, you literally dropped your whole entire plate, my brother, because that did not work. Nobody cares about Will Smith smacking Chris Rock. Nobody cares, dog. No, I forgot about it. That happened 2 years ago. When I'm seeing the clips for Bad Boys and I wanted to go see it, but y'all know me, I don't like being around people, so I can wait a week. I'm going to see it by next week, and I'm not a fan. Spoiler alerts. I learned that, I guess, when we was recording with Bella, and people used to be like, "Hey, y'all come in talking about BMF so early," and that's why I even started to push TV reviews back into later in the episode. So people who didn't get to certain stuff, I wouldn't come in here this week and sit here and spoil about Bad Boys. But guess what, men? Again, like I said, men lie, women lie, but the numbers don't. What was the box office numbers for the Bad Boy movie? I believe it was $104 million. It took $100 million to make it. So after the first weekend, they have already in the positive $4 million. That's just after first weeks. And you got to think about it. For most people, again, when we talked about learning how to break bad habits and stuff because you're so used to, especially after the pandemic. And Marcus even asked that last week, was like, dang, do people still run out to the movie theaters like that? Because, of course, after the pandemic, so many people have got used to just sitting in the house. So, like I said, with that being said, I do think realistically, a lot of people still probably was dragging their feet because you're just not used to rushing out to going to see movies the first day they come out. But like I said, again, with this Bad Boys, I've heard nothing but great reviews. Everybody that's seen it, if you're on social media, and I do respect people who would just be like, hey, you should see it, this movie was great, and they not giving spoiler alerts. Like, just tell me, like, oh, no, the movie's fire, and don't do the spoiler alerts. I feel like you giving out spoiler alerts to a movie, especially a movie with a franchise, is corny. So I do respect people not doing that and just sitting here saying, hey, if you haven't seen it, you should go see it. So for Stephen A. Smith, again, with a horrible take, bro, he is the king of horrible takes right now. 2024 for Stephen A. Smith. I know you're trying to keep up with Shannon Sharp, bro. Your takes are horrible, and you are very untouched with the black community. We never even talked about the whole Donald Trump thing when I was cool on that, because I know that's not your bag, and you just trying to keep up with Charlamagne on that part. You're like, if I can give him some politics, I'm gonna give it. And I do think realistically, one thing I paid attention to, and I'm not, like I told you, I'm not saying that girl name, but that one thing I'm gonna tell you what people do, and which I just pay attention. People who can't, because you feel like you black, so you can't say nothing about Trump, you can't highlight Trump. Y'all new thing is how I can get the Trump audiences. Let me talk about that girl, because her fan base and his fan base is the same exact fan base. So I don't seem cooned out. I'm going to sit here and big this girl up, or sit here and call the U.S. Olympics out, or whatever the case may be, for not putting her on, because they got the same audience. the middle of America whites who normally may not sit here and have nothing else to agree with black people with. Oh, this, I can agree with this. I can keep bigging this girl up. So guess what's gonna happen? And for people, if you think it's just Mikey, you just talking crazy again. I'm gonna let one of y'all go tell it for y'all, because y'all may think sometimes I'm just talking out of pocket. And I do know how most people brain work. Y'all kind of on the sheep mentality. So a person got to have millions of followers for you to agree with what they saying. So here you go.
Gotta say this in all honesty. So far in 2024, dark-skinned black men are guilty of cooning more than any other black men. I don't want to hear nothing about the light-skinned brothers for the rest of the year. I don't want to hear nothing about the mixed race brothers for the rest of the year. So far in 2024, dark-skinned brothers, my complexion and darker, have been doing more cooning and participating in more bunny hopping and more racial betrayal than all the light-skinned men in black America put together. Leave the light-skinned brothers alone. Leave the mixed-race brothers alone. Dark-skinned men are cooning out of control so far in 2024. Gotta say this.
Oh, that's crazy. That's not even, I apologize to all the dark-skinned brothers is listening, because I didn't even, that's not the clip from Dr. Umar I was trying to play. I absolutely apologize, because I was trying to sit here and play him say something completely different. Don't worry, I got it bookmarked. Here we go.
LeBron James is now a spokesperson for Black America. Charles Snow Bunny Barkley is a spokesperson for Black America. Shannon Snow Bunny Sharp is a spokesperson for Black America. Negroes who have no vested interest in the best interests of African people are now the spokespersons, and they are not doing a good job at all. To see these black men throw Angel Reese under the bus, and let me not forget Emmanuel Ocho, my Nigerian brother who has a tendency to coon out every once in a while. Emmanuel Ocho, after Angel Reese lost to Caitlin Clark in the national semifinals a few months ago, he gets on television and he basically shames Angel Reese for the fact that she's receiving death threats. How do you shame a 22-year-old child? My daughter is 22 years old. How do you shame a 22-year-old girl who's crying in the post-game interview because she lost and under the pressure of being vilified by white America, under the pressure of racial remarks and slanderous messages being sent her way every day, all day? She cries as a child does. And what does Emmanuel Ocho do? He gets on TV, shames and blames Angel Reese, and basically tells her, if you want to play the villain, then you have to suck it up when it comes your way. Look at this now. Angel Reese is being treated like an animal by these black male sportscasters. She's being treated like an animal by these black male sportscasters, while at the same time, they upholding the privileged white girl, Caitlin Clark. It ain't nothing but good old-fashioned racism. And I stand in solidarity with Angel Reese. I stand in solidarity with Kennedy Carter. I stand in solidarity with Asia Wilson and Aaliyah Boston and all those beautiful black women who are helping to make the WNBA what it is right now. Asia Wilson is probably going to end up being the greatest female basketball player of all time. That 35, 10, and 5, she out there running that thing. Sold out games every night. Why isn't Stephen A. Smith talking about the Asia Wilson effect? And Gayle King, don't you ever in your life break breath to ask a black coach what were they thinking when they went up against a white student in a national championship game. Gayle King, you owe Coach Dawn Staley an apology. How dare you tell a black woman that you was rooting against her for a white team and a white player at a white university that has less than 3% black children on campus? What the hell do you mean?
And that was brought to you by the great Dr. Umar. So, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, sometimes if I sound like I'm crazy, well, guess what? Always, it only take a week later and I can find somebody with 1 million followers to repeat everything that I told y'all. So, hey, knock yourself out. I know how this world works. So, guess what? That him saying that, preach Dr. Umar. Nigga, I said the same shit last week, but it is what it is. Who we got going on? Oh, yeah. Matter of fact, Michael Rainey Jr., for people who didn't see it, I'm sure you may have seen clips right now. I'm not going to lie to you, dog. He was on stream with some dude from New York. He may be popular in New York because even I'm listening to him call out the numbers. And he had like 50,000 people watching him while he